Building an emergency fund. Hello, welcome to Women's Financial Empowerment Group. I'm your host, Ruth Agbeloso. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Please go ahead and like, share, do all those wonderful things. And remember to hit the notification bell. That way you'll know whenever I upload a new video. On this channel, I discuss all things money mindset, making money, investing money, saving money, and more. So you're gonna wanna come back to hear what I have in store for you. And if you wanna know more about me and what I do, stay with me till the end of the video and I will share that information with you. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a critical aspect of your personal finance journey, and that is building an emergency fund. I talk about emergency funds a lot on this channel because I really believe that it's so important to have an emergency fund. Having an emergency fund can help you avoid going into debt when an unexpected situation arises. During difficult times, it's very tempting to use up your credit in order to make it through that. So having an emergency fund avoids that and gives you that cushioning and peace of mind. I like to refer to it as an umbrella. Imagine going out into the rain and you don't have an umbrella and you just got your hair done. What's gonna happen? Your new do is gonna be all messed up and you're gonna feel really bad about that. You just wasted time, you wasted money getting your hair done. So it's important to have an umbrella as you go out into the rain. Likewise, it's important for you to have an emergency fund. That way you're prepared in case something were to happen. So let's get into it. Why have an emergency fund? Unexpected expenses can happen at any time. You ever heard of Murphy's Law? Yes. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong and at the wrong time. So it's important to be prepared for those what ifs of life. The amount you have in an emergency fund depends solely on your situation. Your circumstance will determine how much you need to have in an emergency fund. As a rule of thumb, experts recommend having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up in an emergency fund. This will give you enough time to find a new job or make other financial arrangements if necessary. Honestly, my clients, I always recommend to them to have more than 3 to 6 months, and we work towards having a year to 2 years in the emergency fund for various reasons, which I dive into in my program. Just know that the more you have saved, the better it's going to be for you in the long run. Make sense? Where to keep your emergency fund. It's important for you to keep your emergency fund in a safe place where you have easy access to it in case of an emergency. High yield savings accounts are a good option because not only do they have a higher rate of return, but you can easily access your money. It's also important to keep your emergency fund in a separate account from your other accounts. I like to say that having a night of pizza delivery is not an emergency. If you forgot to cook dinner, ordering pizza is not an emergency. So definitely keep that money separate so that you're not tempted to use it for non-emergencies. I definitely do that. I use a high yield savings account online for my emergency fund. And if there's an emergency, I know that I can easily access it and it's separated from my other accounts. Building an emergency fund. Building an emergency fund takes time, but it's definitely worth it. Start by setting a goal of how much you want to have in your emergency fund, and then construct a plan towards achieving it. Automating your savings and setting aside a portion of your income each month can help you reach your goal more quickly. I know it might seem a little bit overwhelming because you have a lot of other things to take care of. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, another thing, like how can I make this happen? And I totally understand that feeling. A lot of my clients, when they first come to me, they feel very overwhelmed and stressed about all the various areas of finances and keeping track of it all. And so I sit down with my clients and we are able to look at their situation and come up with a plan of how they're going to be able to accomplish their financial goals in a way that's less stressful and they can actually build wealth and leave a legacy for their children. So I totally understand the stress. I'm here for you. Maintaining your emergency fund. Once you've built your emergency fund, it's important to maintain it. Avoid dipping into your emergency fund for non-emergency situations, such as, like I mentioned before, if you forget to cook and you need to order a pizza. Trust me, it's been done. That's why I mention it. But you definitely want to avoid dipping into your emergency fund for non-emergencies, okay? However, if you do end up needing some of the money, replenish it as soon as possible. That way it's available again if you need it for an emergency. It's also important to review your finances regularly to see if you need to make adjustments to your emergency fund. Because remember, it's based on your expenses. So if your expenses change, the amount that you should have in your emergency fund should also change. You want to make sure that you have an adequate amount in your emergency fund to cover your living expenses. So that's all about emergency funds. I hope that this has been helpful to you. I hope that you now have a better understanding of how to build an emergency fund. Remember, having an emergency fund is a critical step towards financial stability and peace of mind. So start building an emergency fund today and give yourself a cushion to fall back on, or as I always say, an umbrella. If you are stressed about managing your finances, if you need help putting all the pieces together in a real way that's less stressful and you can actually build wealth and leave a legacy for your children, see my information in the description box. I have a link there that you can go to and schedule a breakthrough session with me today so that we can sit down and talk about your situation and see how best we can construct a plan so that you can build wealth and leave a legacy and have some peace of mind. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and share if you haven't already, and leave a comment. And remember, change your mind, change your pocketbook. See you in the next video.